Just Joe here, and I've got... Maybe I should watch one. It is still Halloween month, bitches. It is Halloween month, which means you gotta break out all the scary movies, the thrillers, the mysteries, the killer slasher films, all the stuff. You gotta break all that stuff out of your collection, or go rent them, buy them, whatever. Use the Amazon app. That's what I do. They really need to start paying me. But you gotta get all those movies out. You gotta get them, in right before Halloween. It's only a few weeks away. You gotta watch this stuff just to get prepared for Halloween. You gotta do it, kiddies, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Last time I watched the original Frankenstein. This time, I'm going definitely in a different direction. This movie is not a classic in terms of how good it is. It's a classic because of how bad it is. And honestly, it's probably not really considered a Halloween-type movie. You made me do that. Okay, yeah, I know. But when I was looking through my collection, I just came across this movie that I forgot that I bought. And I bought it because it's a movie, it's a VHS I remember from my childhood that my sister had. And I stole it and I watched it because I was told to absolutely not watch it. Because it had a lot of sex scenes in it. And I was too young. But of course, I stole it, I watched it, and there was a lot of sex. And I found it years later in a dump bin at Walmart for $5 on Blu-ray, and it's with another movie, and I couldn't help myself, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie one day. And I was looking up about it, and it's an erotic thriller mystery, but it's got some horror elements in it. It's a murder type mystery movie, so it is kind of Halloweenish, and from what I've read, the ending stuff is kind of Halloweenish, but when am I ever gonna get a chance to talk about this movie? And the movie I am talking about is Color of Night. Oh, and I just realized that this is the director's cut. It says 15 extra steamy minutes. Oh boy, am I lucky. Oh god, I've never actually watched the entire movie, just when I was a perverted little kid and eventually turned into a perverted little adult. I watched it for the sex scenes, and yeah, I'm gonna kind of watch it for the sex scenes, but from everything I've read, it's a disaster of a movie. One of the worst movies ever made. It won like the Golden Raspberry Award that year for worst movie. It's considered one of the worst of all time, possibly the worst movie of Bruce Willis's career. That's right, Bruce Willis is the star in this movie. What the fuck was he thinking? But, I can't judge the film until I've seen it, I gotta actually watch the movie first. So, I don't know. I'm worried this is gonna make me as mad as the two on the rocks did, or maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Maybe it'll be one of those bad movies that you love, or love to hate, or hate to love. I don't know, one of those things. But it is Halloween, and I gotta fit a possibly bad movie in there somewhere, whatever. So yeah, Color of Night, and yeah, I'm gonna go watch it, and hang on. Okay, bye! Oh, what the fuck was that? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't. I'm honestly almost speechless. Like this, I might as well just give it a rating and end the video, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't know what to say. I'm not actually gonna say if I liked it or I hated it. I'm gonna save that, because I think it'll surprise you. Okay, so anyway, I watched it, and it had all extra 15 minutes of steaminess. Goody. And real quick, I actually read about that. What happened was the producer of the movie and the director, they fought. The director's cut is the director's vision of the movie. And the producer cut it down for the theatrical release by 15 minutes. They got into a really huge fight, eventually reconciled, and they agreed that the director's cut would be released on future VHS, DVD, and like for some reason Blu-ray releases. Can you believe that this movie got a Blu-ray release before Batman: Mask of the Phantasm? This is why aliens don't come here. Because we make stupid decisions like this. Okay, but anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. As always, I start with the plot/the script. Okay, the plot of Color of Night. I'm actually gonna put my coffee down. I need both of my hands to talk about this movie. Okay, the plot is this. Basically, honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and go through most of the plot. I may keep spoilers out, but there may be spoilers. If there are, sorry, but I really just want to talk about this fucking thing. So, okay, Bruce Willis is a psychologist. He's not a psychiatrist, he's a psychologist. And it starts off with this patient who, at the very beginning, she's obviously nuts. She's trying to find a shirt. It's in the it's in her couch. And for some reason, that just makes her flip out. She just like, what? Because it's wrinkled? But buy an iron. It's not hard, they're cheap. But anyway, and she starts putting lipstick all over her face and on her teeth, and she in the mirror, and then she has a gun in her, well, she has a gun because she's crazy, and crazy people have guns. And I'm gonna steer clear of that controversy from nowadays. I'm not talking about that. But anyway, you know, she has a gun and she like puts it in her mouth and then she starts to like fellatio it. And okay, my point is she's crazy. And she goes to Bruce Willis and later he says that he was mean to her or he was crass. I didn't think he was. I thought he was just doing his job. But he tells her to look in the mirror, and I guess she doesn't like what she sees because she just jumps out the window. And then a very obvious dummy is shown falling from the building. And I'm sorry, but it's obvious. And Bruce Willis, the moment that he looks at her body, he sees red, and then it turns to gray. He's become colorblind, but only to the color red. I'm sure that is a possible thing, but is it? That just seems weird. That seems like something Hollywood made up. So okay, anyway, he's going through a tough time. He's being sued by her family. I don't know how he's sued by her family, but you know, movies. And he goes out to California to talk to his best friend from college, who's also a psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever. And he has this group of 5 people, this 5 crazy people, and you meet all of them and they're crazy. And you know, he tells Bruce Willis, like, I think someone's trying to kill me. I've tried to contact the police and they were just like, well, let us know, you know, if they kill you. Good job. And eventually he does get killed. He gets killed, and not really a spoiler because it's the beginning of the movie. And it actually shows him getting killed in the trailer, so not a spoiler. So he gets killed. Bruce Willis, for some reason, gets to keep living in this guy's huge-ass house with technological advances I don't even think are available nowadays, but apparently were back in 1994. And he takes over the group, and he's trying to figure out, you know, who in the group killed him if it was somebody. And you start to learn more about everybody in the group, and everybody's crazy, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. There's a murder on the loose. And, you know, but eventually Bruce Willis runs into, literally, the girl rear ends him randomly, Rose. This beautiful woman. Who, it's a shame that, because she's actually really good in this. She does her best. She's the best part of the movie. I can't remember the actress name. Jane March is her name. And she's British, too. And not to be a pig, but daddy likes British women. And she's gorgeous, and it's a shame that her career started out with this movie because she could have had a very good career if she just didn't star in Color of Night. But she, you know, she does well, but of course I'll get to that in cast and characters. But they fall in love, and the most famous thing about this movie is the sex scene between Bruce Willis and Jane March. And I'll admit, it's a doozy. It's pretty good, it's pretty hot. And I think it's still at the top of the list of best sex scenes in movies history. At least it was for a really long time. It's pretty hot, and it's well put together. It's good, you know. I mean, but the thing was, like, it kept going. It kept going. like I was just doing. It keeps going, and eventually gets to a point, it was just like, Jesus, I can only masturbate so much. But yeah, anyway, eventually, you know, oh my god, you know what, screw it, I'm going through the whole plot, because even if you know the plot, it doesn't matter. So, spoilers. So, eventually, it's, you know, you learn about each person in the group, and each one of them, it turns out, is seeing Rose. It's another one of her personalities named Bonnie, and she's kind of acting out in sexual ways and seeing basically everyone in the group, except for the boy Richie, who something's kind of off about him. That's because Richie is Rose. Basically, the real Richie killed himself years ago because he was sadly taken advantage of by a doctor, and the doctor eventually died, and the brother of Rose and Richie makes Rose become Richie because of his guilt or whatever. It's really rushed in the end. I mean, everything in this movie is really rushed, but it leads to, I guess, a happy ending where the last like 15 minutes is really the horror elements when Bruce Willis's character goes after Rose and his brother. That's kind of where the horror elements come in, but it's not scary, and it's really more funny than anything. And that's really what this movie is. It's almost like The Room, except better made and better acted, but pretty close in terms of how fucking hilarious it is. It's a really funny movie because it is that bad. And that's the plot. There's so much more I could go into with the plot. Like, I remember I saw Eric LaSalle, I was like, oh god, this must have been right before ER. Poor Eric. Oh god, but thank god it's a bit part. And there's a character that I freaking loathe, but I'll get to that cast of characters. But anyway, yeah. But the script is terrible. The dialogue in this is atrocious, but to the point of being funny. There's this thing that Bruce Willis does where he, like, it's not an inner monologue, it's a narration. He doesn't do it in his head, he does it out, where like every time he sees Jane March, almost like they would do in a film noir, but poorly. And I don't know if that's what they were going for, as like an homage or making fun of it or whatever, but it doesn't work, and it's weird. These people don't talk to each other like people should talk to each other. I mean, towards the end of the movie, like the second half of the movie, the dialogue gets a lot better, and when the characters are fleshed out, but everything is rushed. The scenes are rushed. The script, they did not know how to put a script together. They did not know how to put scenes together or create characters or anything else. I mean, it's a lot of cliched characters too, and they're interesting, but it's mainly because they're so bad. Yeah, I'll just leave it with the script is awful, but in the best way possible. So, since I keep wanting to talk about the cast of characters, let's go to the cast/the characters. Okay, Bruce Willis, he's basically just Bruce Willis in this, and I think he knew this movie wasn't good. He's not an idiot. So I don't think he gave it his all. He's got a lot of crying scenes, especially in the first half hour. The dude freaking cries at the drop of a hat. But he does it well, but he's just Bruce Willis. It's nothing of note. You know, I'm glad he was in this movie, because without him in this movie, nobody would know about it. So, thank you, Bruce. And like I said, Jane March is the best part. She does a really good job playing Richie. It's obvious that it's her. At least it's obvious that it's her, but she does a good job at least. Even though I think they put Richie in a lot of makeup. When they finally reveal it's her, it's obvious they took off a lot of makeup. The effects in this movie are not good at all. But she does really well as Rose and even as Bonnie, and when she gets as Bonnie with the British accent, and and the rest of the characters are fine. All the people in therapy are a hoot. they're fun. They're terrible, but they're fun. Like, they're trying. It's just you can't make this dialogue seem natural. You can't make this story make sense. You can't help it by acting well. But they do well enough, you know. But there is one character that I hated. The police detective. It's this Latino guy. I guess he's the comic relief in the movie, and he's not fucking funny. He's not funny. And he's a stereotype of Latinos. And he's just, they try to make him quirky and everything else, and he's not funny. And the movie ends with him. It's Bruce Willis after he saved Jane March on top of a roof, and it's raining, and it's I guess supposed to be beautiful, and you hear the cop downstairs because his hand is nailed to the wall. You have to see the movie to understand that. Out of context, it sounds really fucking weird. But, and he's like screaming and saying these, what are supposed to be funny things, and that's when the movie ends. They didn't know how to end the movie. They end it with that guy? He was annoying. Annoying from his first scene, and he is throughout the movie. He had a much bigger part than he should have. Why not make Eric LaSalle at least his partner so they could have a back and forth so I wouldn't have to put up with so much of this fucking guy? Or make Eric LaSalle the lead. He would have done a much better job. He's just a very tiny bit character. He's not even needed. And he was wasted in this. But this guy is annoying. Annoying. So I'm trying to think anything. Yeah, the cast was actually not badly cast. Like, nobody was miscast. It's just you can't. It's just the characters were bad, but in the best way possible. Okay, and last, and in this case actually least, the directing, editing, and the music. Okay, the directing is pretentious. Actually, you know what? The whole movie is pretentious. It should have been called Color of Night. It should have just been called Pretentious, or Color of Pretentious, or Pretentious of Night. Just add the word pretentious in there, because it is pretentious. It's like the director and even the writers, they thought they were making like they were gonna be the next Stanley Kubrick's. That's what this movie reminded me of. It's a Stanley Kubrick movie, but without the talent, without the substance, without anything Kubrick. They were trying so hard to make this movie seem like it was more than it was, and it's not. It's far from it, and they failed miserably. The direction doesn't make sense, and he comes up with some neat angles, but it doesn't make any sense. The direction, nothing makes sense in this movie. It's not ugly to look at, it's just weird. And not in a good way, not in a Stanley Kubrick weird way, not in an artistic way, even though I'm sure the director probably thought that. It's just weird in a bad way. The direction wasn't very good. But the worst part of this movie, even over that stupid actor, or that character, whatever, is the editing. This is the worst editing I've seen in a big budget Hollywood movie, ever. My God. The editor must have known how bad this movie was. I mean, how could you not? When you're presented all this film of Color of Night, you know it's gonna be a stinker. You know it's gonna be a bag full of shit. It's edited together like quickly. Scenes have no time to breathe. It's edited poorly. The music is edited in poorly, and I'll get to the music here in a second. Everything is edited in just poor. It is so. It's like a new student in film school put this film together. They didn't know what they were doing. It's amazing. You got to see it, because if you want to learn about editing, just watch Color of Night, and you will know exactly what not to do. The scenes end like that. Like, okay, if I'm doing a scene, like a really serious scene where I'm just like, Mom, the doctor said you have cancer. And yeah, all of a sudden I'm in a car. It was that quick, that quick. No time to breathe, no nothing. It just, like, something, go, something, go, something, go. The editing is terrible. It is so bad. It's amazing, and it's distracting. And it gets kind of better towards the end of the movie, but not really. The editing is the worst part of this film. Oh God. The music is weird. It doesn't fit. I can't even explain what the music was. It was trying to be, you know, kind of like a erotic, but like a film noir, and it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It just makes it even funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier the longer it goes. And it's a 2-hour and 20-minute movie. It's long, and it just gets funnier the longer it goes. And the music sucks, except for that song Color of Night. That was the only thing in this movie that got anything positive about it. Got like a Golden Globe nomination. I actually like the song because it just reminds me of the 90s. It's a cheesy, stupid love type song, and it plays throughout the entire fucking movie. But you know what? I actually like the song. I do. But it gets old. Music sucks. So, my final thoughts on Color of Night And okay, I know this really isn't like a horror type movie. I get that. It's not really a horror movie, but it's got horror elements in it, and it's a thriller, and it's got murder, and it's got blood, and it's got all this stuff. And I've been wanting a long time to watch this movie all the way through and to talk about it. And just because my final thoughts are, you have to see this movie. That's what it is. I tried to hate this movie. I mean, I do hate this movie because it is a complete and utter waste of 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then again, it's not. It's a shit ton of fun. Get a group of friends together and watch this movie. It's bad. It's like watching an old B movie. They do everything wrong. Just about. No, fuck it. They do everything wrong. Nothing really works in this movie. Even the stuff that I guess works doesn't work. Because the movie, it's a failure. It's pretentious. It's overly long, it's horribly written, it's badly directed, atrociously edited, the music, the soundtrack doesn't fit, the acting is okay, but there's really no point. They shouldn't have even tried. It's just, but it is so much fun to watch. I got wrapped up in the world because it was just so pretentious that I was loving every second of it. It drags the first like 40 minutes, but after that I really got into it and I was like, just keep it going because I was laughing my ass off. I really was. Like, it is so much fun. It really is. It's just like any bad movie like The Room or Plan 9 from Outer Space. It should be up there with some of the best bad movies, and really it is one of the biggest question marks to ever come out of Hollywood. But by God, they failed, but they failed in flames with fireworks. You know what I mean? Like, it's horribly bad, but also amazingly entertaining. So I had a blast watching it. It's a complete and utter waste of time, and yeah, not really a Halloween horror movie, but if you're looking for something with, you know, and it's an erotic thriller kind of horror movie for this Halloween season, you know, just to get a few laughs, to watch a bad movie, and there are so many bad horror movies out there, why not pop this one in? You can get it for real cheap. So, on the Amazon app, fucking pay me, Amazon. So, yeah, I'm not mad. I want to be mad. I should be mad, but I'm not. And that's why, even though this movie is horrible, I'm going to give Color of Night a Just Joe rating of 2.5 out of 5.
Boo, you suck!
So, thank you very much for tuning in for another edition of Too Many Movies with me, Just Joe. Every single Friday, I do a new movie, and I'll have a couple more weeks this month to do 2 more Halloween movies, and yes, I have them picked out for my collection, and they will actually be real type Halloween movies, so look forward to that. But I finally got this out of the way. Color Night, you know, the next time I watch it, it'll probably be with a group of friends because it is that much fun. I highly recommend that. But anyway, every single Friday, I have a new video up. Hopefully soon I have some more Too Many Movies at the Movies with me, Just Joe. But also links are in the description below to my Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, the podcast I'm sometimes on, my buddy Jake. And, you know, subscribe to my YouTube page, subscribe to everything, like this video, like all my videos. I've got quite a few videos now. And, yeah, do whatever you want. I don't really care, but I do. So, do what I want you to do. Because that's just do it. Just do it. But as you can see, I got more movies to watch, a lot more movies, and I will see you in the next video. And it's still Halloween, bitches. Remember, go and enjoy it. Ow! Quiet on the set.